It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So is China infiltrating our universities? Apparently, there have been reports that, yes, that's happening. And Stanford has published a report on that. I've been a student for many, many years. I have gone to multiple universities, and the international students that have worked with, amazing. Very smart, eager to learn, really nice. They were less bullying than some of the other students. So I've always had a great rapport with international students. But the concerns now that the Trump administration is having with international students at our academic institutions has brought forth a lot of discussions. Many critics of Trump say he's overreacting. Others are saying, well, this is what's been happening. So Stanford, a report from the Stanford Review earlier this month investigated Chinese academic espionage at Stanford. Apparently, this March, Stanford's president, Dr. Jonathan Levin, received a letter from the Select Committee on the CCP detailing the security risks China poses to STEM research. There has been concerns about Chinese espionage that have quietly persisted at Stanford. Now, according to this review, they say throughout our investigation, professors, students, and researchers readily recounted their experiences of Chinese spying, yet they declined to speak publicly. They said one student who experienced firsthand espionage was too fearful to recount their story, even via encrypted messaging. They said the risk was too high. And so in one case, there was a CCP agent impersonating, according to the Stanford Review, impersonating a Stanford student under the alias of Charles Chen. He approached several students through social media. Anna, and this is a fake name to protect her identity, was a Stanford student conducting sensitive research on China. She began receiving these messages from Charles Chen. At first, it seemed benign, networking opportunities, because college type stuff. But then Charles inquired if she spoke Mandarin. Then he became a lot more personal, a lot more persistent, sent videos of Americans who had gained fame in China, encouraged her to visit Beijing, offered to cover all her travel expenses, would send screenshots of bank account balance to prove he'll buy the plane tickets. And then he advised her to go to China for only 24 to 144 hours to avoid visa scrutiny by authorities, urged her to communicate exclusively through the Chinese version of WeChat, which is a platform heavily monitored by the CCP. When Charles commented on one of her social media posts, asked her to delete screenshots of their conversation, she was like, okay, this is serious, as if all the other requests weren't serious. So Anna contacted authorities. Their investigation revealed that Charles Chen was never a student at Stanford, but had posed as one. Targeted multiple students, most of them women, researching China-related topics. And they believe he was an agent of the Chinese Ministry of State Security, tasked with identifying sympathetic Stanford students and gathering intelligence. Now, I'm no expert on international students and visas and who is where. And I mean, obviously we have spies. I don't know what that Chinese spy balloon was. In fact, it seems like China now is so comfortable with spying that they have no problem doing it out in the open because Biden wasn't going to do anything about that spy balloon. Although they really could have knocked it down before it hit American airspace in Alaska. The Bering Sea would have been a great place to drop it, but they let it go across the whole United States until finally by Myrtle Beach they decided to down it. So we've known for years that China has infiltrated a lot of our networks, and of course, much of our research is being done at universities. So they're them accessing our academia for intelligence. Obviously, no surprise, but not all students are obviously spies. But if we do have an issue and we can't find transparency and do proper vetting, let alone we have some international students supporting Hamas and preventing Jewish students from going to class and intimidating or taking over and hijacking buildings like the library, then yes, it starts to beg the question, who are we allowing into this country? Who could be infiltrating some of our very sensitive research and sensitive material? Who could be interfering with Americans and their research or an American position in a university? Because obviously they compete with international students. And as much as I, being a first generation American, as much as I love us having great relationships with foreign countries and offering foreign exchange student programs and having international students come here, there should be a proper vetting. And is a proper vetting being done? Are they being supervised? You would think the answer would be yes, of course they are. But it sounds like, according to the Stanford report, no, this has been happening for a while. And that the government has been, alerting academia that this could be happening. So you would think academia would say, all right, let's just hold off for a sec. Let's just reevaluate. We don't want one bad apple to ruin it for the rest of them. But the last thing we want is somebody recruiting, whether they're recruiting them for Al-Qaeda or recruiting them for Chinese spy missions or recruiting them for trafficking. I don't care whether they're international or domestic. We don't want those types of crimes or treason or terrorism being a part of any of our academic institutions. School is just supposed to be about you go and learn. You learn, but academia has changed. Academia now is about activism. Academia is about home growing and politics, and so it's I think somebody does need to take a look at the situation. We don't have to ban all international students, but maybe we do need to start vetting a little bit better. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions, Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World, for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So Nevada, I live in Nevada, doesn't rank very high as it pertains to doctor-patient ratio. In fact, I think we come in number 48. We don't have enough doctors for our patients. Why is that? Well, we have medical schools, a lot of medical schools pumping out a bunch of students, but we don't have enough residency programs. And we don't have enough attracting people to come back to Nevada and practice. Now, even though we don't have any state income tax, we have amazing hiking and nature, and we're really still only 3.5 hours away from the coast. For those of us that make it to LA all the time, try to go to LA all the time, we're just not attracting the graduates. And I think a big issue that nobody is bringing up is we lost a lot of doctors because of all the malpractice BS that happened in the early 2000s. We lost hundreds of doctors who couldn't get health insurance, malpractice insurance when St. Paul pulled out of Nevada. So if you had a prior malpractice lawsuit, you couldn't jump onto some of the other insurance companies that were going to insure. For me, it was easy. We left St. Paul. I didn't have any lawsuits, still don't. Was able to hop onto another insurance company. Yet many doctors who did have a prior lawsuit or settlement had to leave. Many of the doctors I trained under, just people had to leave. And so we never got them back. Not to mention, Vegas can be pretty litigious. And, not sure why we still have that stereotype, because we have a lot of native, it used to be more of a, tourist town. It's not really. We've had people who are natives. My sons were born here. All our family went to UNLV. So we're Nevadans till the end, but difficult attracting doctors. Well, our Governor Lombardo, apparently had a medical issue in the family with his grandson. And a visiting doctor ended up treating Governor Lombardo's grandson during an emergency last year. Governor Lombardo, as you know, is Republican. He says adequate and timely access to health care remains a pressing challenge for many Nevadans, including myself and my family. He said, just last year, my young grandson was hospitalized for a serious ear infection. He needed emergency surgery, but there wasn't a doctor at any hospital in Southern Nevada, who was equipped to perform the procedure he needed. Now, I haven't talked to Governor Lombardo about this. I would like to get a little bit more detail so I could share with that. But what he shares is that it was a visiting doctor from Texas who helped take care of his son. Now, you can't necessarily be a doctor in Texas that can perform medicine here unless you're also licensed here. So I'm licensed in multiple states. It's very expensive. It was very expensive for the company who had me get all the licenses. It's expensive for me if I want to renew them. It's expensive. It's hundreds upon hundreds of dollars a year in every state. And even though I'm licensed in multiple states, I can't practice medicine in California unless I get their specific license. Now, why do they do that? If you're a doctor and you pass the national boards and you go to a residency that trains you with national standards, you should be able to practice medicine anywhere. Apparently, though, these states are, controlled by their medical boards, and the medical boards, and I am a fan of states' rights. Medical boards know more about what each state needs, but we all have to have the same ethics and the same quality. So we shouldn't really differ. If one state feels we need, pain medicine management, CME, most likely the other states do too. But every state is different. They have different fees. They have different CME requirements. So right now it's not very uniform. Now, President Trump, during the start of COVID, allowed there to be reciprocity. And I could, with the telemedicine company I work for, take care of patients in New York. Whoever needed me could have me. And Trump allowed there to be that reciprocity. You still had to be licensed in a state. You still had to. But if New York needed you, if California needed you, they could use you temporarily because the COVID pandemic had such a shortage of doctors. So Governor Lombardo is urging people look at this Nevada Healthcare Access Act. It's Senate Bill 495, intended to streamline health services across the state, expand mental health services, and grow the medical workforce. So this bill is called Senate Bill 495. They say an act related to healthcare, establishing a competitive funding program to address shortages of providers of healthcare in the state, prescribing certain requirements to expedite the credentialing and privileging of providers in healthcare. So if I want to have privileges at a hospital, it could take a whole year. It's ridiculous. And I mean, to vet, now that you have you could do background checks. You could vet very quickly. Why does it take so long to get credentialed? If you don't get credentialed, you can't practice there because insurance won't pay you. It's stupid the way it is. Authorizing paramedics to serve as employees or volunteers in hospitals under certain circumstances. Transferring the responsibility for administering the graduate medical education grant program to the Department of Health and Human Services. Making certain other revisions to that program, imposing certain requirements governing prior authorization for medical and dental care and payment of health insurance claims, requiring the department to explore ways to use federal financial participation in Medicaid to support graduate medical education. Now, this could help in terms of increasing doctors for those who are underserved. Medicaid was very tricky for a lot of private physicians because, as I told you, back in the early 2000s, they weren't paying us on all the claims. We probably got paid 2 out of every 5 claims. Then they decided to send a letter to everybody saying, look, if any of you were overpaid, give us the money back. If you don't respond, you're going to get audited. So I responded by saying, not only have I not been overpaid, but I am still $30,000 in debt because these claims weren't paid. Here's all the claims. I never heard back from them. They didn't. But a lot of doctors struggle with if they, if you work for a corporation, the corporation handles it. But there's a lot of, private doctors that can't work with Medicaid to the degree that they want to. This might help. They want to create and prescribe the duties of the Office of Mental Health in the department. prohibits certain non-competition covenants governing providers of health care with certain exceptions. So let's say you leave one hospital or an urgent care. You are bound by your contract to non-compete. So there's all these doctors that leave their work and then they can't practice for miles because of a non-compete. Now, the reason why these offices and these hospitals do that is they don't want a doctor stealing the patients. But there's just too many patients. I think patient stealing is moot at this point because there's just not enough doctors and the lines of patients. In fact, when I ask doctors, I go, look, are you looking for patients? Because patients will call up in Nevada they're like, I can't take it anymore. Don't give me anymore. So I don't think the patient stealing issue is that much of an issue now. But the average doctor that loses their job or leaves a company has to leave town. Because if they can't practice in a 5-mile radius, that takes them to outskirts where they don't live. And then also if it's a 5-mile radius from the company, well, if the company has locations across the whole town, they can't practice in Southern Nevada. So this might assist with that, which is going to be kind of fascinating. They say they're going to require the prioritization of certain applications for licensure as a physician or osteopathic physician, requiring certain reports from the Board of Medical Examiners and State Board of Osteopathic Medicine to include certain information, requiring the establishment of an alternative pathway to licensure as a dental hygienist because we're low on dental hygienists. Although I think the Dental Hygienist Board is against that. I think they're concerned about some of the training. Establishing provisions to incentivize the provision of psychological services to rural patients, requiring the Patient Protection Commission to study academic medical centers, make appropriations, provide a penalty, and providing other matters properly relating thereto. So this bill, it's 25% of the way in progression. I need to look a little deeper as to what's going on with that. But we're in trouble from a standpoint of not having enough physicians or people not wanting to practice medicine anymore. And so if you can't find a provider, you're stuck going to the ER or urgent care. We have to have a better system. 1-877-DOC-DALI. Don't go away.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
In many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+. Terms and conditions apply.
back to the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dali, 1-877 DOCDALI. So something I notice a lot of people struggle with, including me, is on one end, not sweating the little stuff, being pretty chill, not making a big deal about things. But then it goes on so long that you start to be disrespected. And then it doesn't seem to be the smartest move to be chill about it. You're being taken for granted. You're being disrespected. So now you should nip it in the bud. Nip in the bud, I think, is a gardening term, right? Where if aberrant branches grow, you nip it in the bud or whatever. Yeah, okay. So it's not butt. It's not nip it in the butt. It's nip it in the bud. People think it's nip it in the butt, like you put out a butt cigarette, but no. And so the being chill or making your stand early on, which is better? So, I have always done this, whether it's with my kids, whether it's with my friends. I'm like, look, I'm not going to make a big deal about the toilet seat. I'm not going to make a big deal about somebody not, responding to a letter or email. I'm not going to make a big deal. It happens. You don't need, because I've been around people that get so insulted. They get so ticked off that you're like, you know what? I'd rather just not deal with them because I just don't know if I'm going to accidentally tick them off, because I don't respond to emails all the time. I don't respond to texts all the time. So I don't want to be around people that just get, overly, shall we say, insulted or offended. I don't like being around people who are easily offended because I know I'm going to eventually offend them. So I'd rather just, not be around you so I don't do anything wrong. But I have, seen, and I'm sure you guys have too, and looking at some of your emails, where work ends up dumping on you. And now that you try to take a stand, nobody takes you seriously. One of you had written about your doctor's office. You were ignored by your doctor and some of your requests, ignored by the staff. Now the poop is hitting the fan, and so you're trying to take a stand, and they're not taking you seriously. And so does squeaky wheel get the grease? I mean, so this is what I would do, because I'm always on the side of just be chill. It's not a big deal, because I would rather make up with the person. I would rather deal with the employer and move ahead than day one being very confrontational and then losing that relationship right away. So for me, I like the easier path. But trying to gain that respect back is tricky. In fact, I kind of have gone through this with my sons. I never had that attitude with them where if they disrespect me, I smack them across the face. I didn't want to hit the kids, so I didn't hit the kids. But maybe the first time they backtalked or disrespected me, I should have nipped it in the butt. So now all it is back talk and, Mom, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Or, oh, man, what? So now I go, you don't talk to your mama like that. They're like, is she serious? I've always talked to you like that. And so now it's harder to gain that back, get that back. And when it's an employer or if it's an acquaintance or a friend, who cares? You don't have to talk to them. But when it's your family, that's different. So from a family standpoint, if you have disrespect with your spouse or family members or in-laws, you can call it and you can, draw the line anytime. Don't feel like you can't because you didn't start it from the beginning. And if there is that disrespect saying, this isn't happening. Now, let's say the disrespect continues to happen. They're always ignoring you. They're not, they're always, speaking to you badly. They're always taking advantage of you. They might never learn. But now you've drawn a line. Now you've said, okay, this is what's happening from now on. So if you disrespect me, I'm not talking to you. You're not going to hear from me. If you ask me to do something in that tone, it's not going to happen. You're going to see it not get done So if you see whatever you want not get done, you know why. It's because you were disrespectful. If you don't see me respond to you because you don't respond to me, that just doesn't happen anymore. If you badmouth me, backtalk me, it's not happening. I'm out. I'm done. Now they could say, yeah, fine. You'll be fine in a week from now. No, you got to make good on that. Say, no, it's a new dawn. It's a new age. It's a new life. All right? Okay. I'm done with the disrespect. It's rude. And I want a good relationship with you. Our relationship is not strong when there could be this resentment and this disrespect. I want us to have a strong relationship. So this is how things need to be. If you don't like it, that's fine. I am perfectly fine with you not being in my life. Easy. Now, what about a new work environment? And, or if you try to go to, or your doctor, if you try to go to a doctor, say, look, I expect you to call me back when I have a question. I had patients that said, look, my last doctor would never call me back. And so I will hire you if you promise to call me back. Well, early on in my practice, I was calling everybody back. I was at the office till 10 at night. And so I explained to people, I go, I may not personally call you. We're going to try to address every phone call, but because we don't have, with all the patients, the ability to call everybody back while we're trying to take care of the patients here, we can offer you a visit. Now, if you want free medicine over the phone and you want me to do phone calls, this was before telemedicine, and not come in, you're probably going to need a different office. We just can't do telemedicine. One, insurance wasn't paying. Patients were paying. Two, I have to take care of my patients that are here, that are actually showing me the respect to come in. So I'm like, this might not work. I nipped that in the bud. We will try to call you back. We will try to address if there's a concern. We'll get you in on a Saturday. I'm here on the weekend away from my family to be there for emergencies for people. But if you want me to promise you or you won't hire me, I'll take the loss. Sorry. Good luck finding somebody. They'll be lucky to have you. It's just I won't be able to make this work or make you happy. With relationships, you have somebody close to you that just, spews their negativity on you, or they've had a bad day, or they don't treat you like, the prince or princess you should be treated. I don't really believe in anybody should be doing that. But I got to tell you, when you have a choice of people to be around, and there are individuals that, know what they got, and they appreciate that, why would you waste time with somebody that makes you feel like crap? And explain that to them. I'm not saying get a divorce, or I'm not saying, kick your family member out of the house or anything like that. But, you can very easily have a conversation. Look, I'm not asking for presents. I'm not asking for flowers. I'm not asking just, I don't want you to talk to me like that. Stop talking to me like that. Now, sometimes people just don't realize. A lot of people don't realize they are being disrespectful or they are being annoying. And they have no idea. They just think they're venting. They think they're just talking to you because they were always able to talk to you. You were chill. So that's why give them a mulligan. Talk to them about how, this just isn't, what I want to hear. Sometimes you just have to remind them. And sometimes they need to be reminded over and over again. But the being chill works well if that's really who you are. But if you're starting to get hurt inside, or you're like, I don't want to be around this person, you have every right to stand up for yourself at any time. There's no statutes of limitations on it. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hi, guys. Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious, such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Dali, 1-877-DOCDALI. So for 4 years, we have been asking who ran the country before Trump during the Biden administration. And we asked it on the show. I assumed it was his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. I know a lot of people thought it was Obama running things or the Clintons. I don't know if it was the Clintons. They didn't really look like they were that friendly at some of the previous events, like Trump's inauguration and Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter's funeral. But a Donald Trump aide, David Sachs, who was interviewed on Jesse Watters' Prime Time, he's the White House's AI czar, said that Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during the administration. The auto pen, remember auto pen gate? That came out at the end of Biden's term, where it wasn't his signature in its authenticity. It was an auto pen. It was a doctors use stamps, things like that. And, there's electronic signatures. So this auto pen brought up a lot of concern. You see Trump physically signing all the executive orders with his signature with the pens. But the auto pen, something a lot of presidents have used. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump used the auto pen. But who was using it if it wasn't Biden? Now, the Biden administration said it was him the whole time. Now that he's out of office and all these reports are coming out and books are coming out, apparently this aide that works the White House AI czar, David Sachs, saying Elizabeth Warren was running things. He says she had a pathological hatred of the crypto community, wanted to drive this community offshore. And we don't know when. I don't think we have specifics, and I'm not saying Elizabeth Warren ran the presidency. This is one theory that or she might have intervened with part of it. But, you know, it's a very, very concerning story as well as cover-up that really begs some clarity. I don't think we'll ever get the answer. It'll be just like, you know, who shot JFK? Who was responsible for the killing? But I think it does need to be talked about. I keep hearing from people, why are they going on? Let Biden deal with his prostate cancer. Let him, you know, go off until the sunset, be with his family in peace. The problem is I can't get trust back in public health. The Biden administration ruined that for us doctors. I can't, you know, now take much of what they told us over the past few years seriously. Now with prostate cancer, you know, did he really go from 0 to 90 in 100 days with prostate cancer, or did he have prostate cancer the whole time? I have to explain to patients why maybe we need to relook at, you know, what we're doing with prostate cancer and screening based on what we're being told by the Biden administration. Now, you know, it's really easy to just go through life saying it's all lies. Everything they're telling us is lies. But that's very hard to operate. It's really hard to just disbelieve everything. I understand there's conspiracy theories, and many of these conspiracy theories were right on the money. When we were accused of conspiracy theories that the COVID virus was leaked from a lab, that was not a conspiracy theory. That kind of made sense because COVID was leaked and SARS was leaked from Chinese labs back in 2003. And then another small outbreak in 2004 that killed a couple people in the lab. So that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a good working theory. And so you have a president that was going to run again. There was all these lies spewed about Trump and, you know, other individuals in order to like the deep faking videos and people lying about, you know, Biden's abilities. And then you kind of look at, you know, what his aides are now feeling confident to admit. It were like we were right the whole time. And it looks like liberal media has a choice to make because they're losing viewers. And people are not looking at them with integrity and ethical news sources. And when you see the people attack us all this time, as it pertained to vaccine mandates, as it pertained to mask mandates, as it pertained to firing our nurses and firing our military who didn't want to get a COVID vaccine, when people said, look, I just want more transparency, I just don't trust that everything we're being told from the government is 100%, they were accused of being conspiracy theorists. When that doctor in Maine asked on social media, why isn't the CDC discussing natural immunity as it pertains to COVID? She got her license censured and had to have psychological, get psychological care. I mean, it was a really scary time the last few years. And I don't want that to happen again. I told you guys straight up, I can't lose my license. As much as many people wanted me to say that the shots were going to hurt you and the shots were bad, all I could do is convey the information we got plus my common sense. Getting the vaccine myself, in the years I got the vaccine, I didn't get COVID. Did I get side effects from the vaccine? Yes, I had to put off my mammogram for months because of the breast swelling, the chest pain, the underarm swelling. Were there documented cases of myocarditis? Absolutely. From the COVID vaccine and from COVID as well. Were there documented cases of ITP, a doctor who hemorrhaged and died after getting the COVID vaccine? Yes. So my job was to convey to you the information we had and not follow a political narrative. And I got shadow banned. I got threatened. It was ridiculous. When I went to vote, they said I was cleansed from the system. Okay, first of all, don't be telling a Jew that got cleansed. Number two, why was I cleansed? I've been voting in Clark County, Nevada for years. Where's my information? Why aren't I getting a mail-in? This is scary stuff. And maybe it's not all conspiracy theory. Maybe everything was coincidental. But now people are going back going, I can't trust anything out of this administration. So Trump luckily followed Biden. And so with him signing things, with him being on camera, there is no question who is running the Oval Office. It's Trump. Now, somebody could say, well, Russia is, or they could really. Okay, does Russia really care about transgender, females who are biologically male in sports? I mean, this is coming from Trump. And so whoever follows Trump has a tough act to follow. They're going to have to be very transparent. They're also going to have to work every day. None of this, I'm going back to Delaware. They're also going to have to let the media ask questions without it being very censored. And all of this was done. The media got themselves into this position because they hated Trump. And they felt like they had to be pro-Biden. And it finally took George Clooney to say, hey, guys, because he knew that his reputation was on the line. And now all their reputations are on the line. Going, look, you kept putting this lie. 1877 Doc Daliah, don't go away.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.